Hey everybody, Gabe Suarez here from Suarez Tactics. Today we're going to talk about, I guess, a controversial thing. You guys remember the old days, 9mm versus 45, Weaver versus isosceles, and all that sort of thing. Now look, a lot of these controversies started back in the era of the 1970s, where the only ammunition available was full metal jacket. And, if you were lucky, you could get some sort of lead exposed soft points or anything like that. Now, there was a Spear used to make this 200 grain 45. The LAPD used to call it the flying ashtray. All right, but other than that, everybody carried full metal jacket because that's what there was. But, that was, God, let's see, 84, 94, 414. That was like, what, 50 freaking years ago? Right? There's a lot of different stuff available now, okay? So, today, the idea, if we're going to argue 45 versus 9mm, people are like, what's the point? Okay? You want to carry 45, do it. You want to carry 9mm, do it. Because you know what? At the end of the day, they're both going to function about the same. I had a friend of mine, a student that was a doctor at an urban emergency room. He saw so many gunshot wounds, it was ridiculous, okay? And I remember we talked about this one time. This was, maybe 10 years ago. And he said, look, I see gunshot wounds all the time, all right? The difference between a 9mm, a 40, and a 45, wait for it, when you use the right type of anti-personnel ammunition, they're virtually indistinguishable. They all work the same. They all perform the same. The effects on target are the same. So it doesn't matter. Now, if we're talking about full metal jacket, yeah, bigger calibers have an advantage. We're talking about modern, first world, 2024 ammunition. Makes absolutely no difference in those calibers, 9, 40, 45, 357 SIG, and so on. Until you start getting into the mini magnums, 357 Magnum, 10mm, 44s, and things like that, which they carry their own problems for everyday carry, okay? But if excluding those, they're all going to work about the same. So we're going to discuss this one here. I'm sure some people are going to get kind of weird about it, but I don't care, all right? 32 versus 380. Drum roll. Okay? All right. Now, what spurred this was that Walther is bringing back the Walther PPK, which I think is a wonderful pistol. We're going to talk about that here in a minute, okay? Now, some people, the curmudgeon crowd, right? The people that, they carry a 45 because they don't make a 46, that kind of stuff. Those people think that, they're going to stick something like this in a summer special, and go off into the world and stuff like that. But you know what? We know that is a bunch of nonsense because you're not going to be able to do that only in fantasy land, maybe, okay? Real world, you have to carry weapons that you can conceal. Now, most of us can get away with carrying, like a Browning high power, Glock 17, Beretta 92, CC 75, 1911, all that kind of stuff, especially if you opt for appendix carry like most of us do, right? But there are some events and some environments where even a pistol like that, well concealed, is a little too much because of the attire that's required and the circumstances that you're going to find yourself in. It is what it is. So sometimes you have to opt for a smaller pistol, okay? Now, I have, boom, a Walther PPK here in 32. Now this one I got, my gosh, when was this? I want to say when that movie, the James Bond movie came about where, he was kind of going old school and he had the Aston Martin. I want to say Quantum of Solace, I'm not sure. And so they brought back a special run of Walther PPKs in 32 ACP. This was back when I was CEO of Suarez International. and I bought a handful of them, and most of them sold. There was a couple that were left over, and so one of my staff got one, and I got the last one. Okay, now so that we can be proper on camera. All right, we're going to check and see we check and everything else. So now we can do whatever the hell we want to do. Okay, so this guy, this was the concealment weapon back in the 1990s in law enforcement. And it's a fine little blaster. Now, you know what the cool thing about these double action small pistols is that these are true pocket pistols. I can take this and put it in my pocket and go get gas for the 4Runner or the Camaro or the Mercedes, and it's not a big deal. You can't do that with a Glock 42. You can't do that with a Glock 43. You can't do that with any of these striker-fired pistols. A striker-fired pocket pistol is absolute insanity, in my opinion. Okay, you want a pocket pistol, it needs to be double action. Okay, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because if you learn how to run it right, proactively, you engage it into single action, and when you are using it reactively, a 10, 12 pound double action trigger pull is not going to be a big deal at 10 feet. Okay, so this is really cool. I have one of these, and I'm actually going to start running it a little bit more, because I think this is going to become a very viable option for Walther. I also have this guy right here. This is a Beretta 32. Now look, I'll bring this guy out here. So the Beretta's a little bit smaller. Okay, it's a little bit easier to carry around in pocket. It's also double action. And it's very interesting because it has this little feature here. Boom, a tip-up barrel. So if you you have a relative or whatever that maybe has injured hands, or they're frail or what, they can push this little lever. This pops up. They put a round in there. They close it. They can put a magazine in, and it's just a nice little blaster to carry around. Okay, look how small that is. You can conceal that with your hand. Okay, now am I going to start carrying this around instead of my CZ75? No. These weapons are for special circumstances when you can't carry anything else. Okay? All right, now let's look at these numbers. Okay? All right, so 32, 380. 32 ACP, 380 ACP. Recoil. All right, now I had a 380 Walther PPK a while back. I sold it because I didn't like it. Somebody wanted it, I didn't want it. I'd rather have the cash. There's things I can do with money. I can't really do something with a pistol that's in the safe that I don't like. Okay, why didn't I like it? Because the recoil was bad. Okay, not bad. Okay, I can get by with recoil, but it was more than I liked. Okay, it was like trying to shoot a Magnum round in an alloy receiver. It works and it's okay, but it's just unpleasant. Okay, so the 32 is better on recoil. Okay, now not only does it feel better in the hand, okay, and I'm not a weak guy, but all right, but it's also easier to come back from recoil, easier to control, and so on and so forth. Okay, recoil, it wins out. Accuracy. Okay, when people talk about accuracy with a 32 and a 380, dude, you're not taking a headshot at 25 yards with one of these. These are elevator guns. They're phone booth guns. They are, parking stall guns. These are not first-line combat pistols. These are weapons you carry when you're not supposed to carry a weapon, and you're hiding this thing in your jockstrap. Okay? Otherwise, I would ask you, why are you not carrying something bigger? Okay? These are not frontline weapons. So, from here to the distance of your car, or from one car length to another car length, or in an elevator, or in a hallway in a hotel room, that sort of thing. These are very, very close range guns. So you know what? If you can get all your shots, inside right here, okay, at like, I don't know, 15 feet, you're good to go. Both of these pistols will do that without any issues. All right, cost of ammo. This is where the 380 kind of wins out. The 380 has been popular because, again, there's this American mentality that you got to go with a bigger caliber, right? You don't, all right? But the market popularity has put the 380 in a position where it's more popular, more available, and thus a little better in cost, okay? All right, ammo availability. you know what, look, I bought, what was it, like 500 rounds of, I think it was S&B 32 ammo, or in European terms, 7.65. I bought the same amount in 380 for, somebody's project that we're working on. The training ammos is about the same, okay? And it's available. Street ammo is a different story. What do I carry? Look, in all my pistols, okay? This is what I carry right here, okay? And I don't get any money from Spear, but Spear Gold Dot, okay? Matter of fact, in my pocket right now, okay, I have a speed strip, Spear Gold Dot, okay? That's what I carry. That's what I carry in everything, okay? Makes it easy. How? Why? How? Because it's been proven on the street by multiple law enforcement agencies. I don't like to be the guinea pig with exotic ammo. And if you want to do that, go ahead and do it. I'd rather carry what's proven, what's knocked down a bunch of bad guys. Spear Gold Dot's the way to go. Okay? Ballistics. Okay, now this is interesting. This is interesting. In ballistic gelatin, both 380 and 32 with comparative ammo, they perform about the same. They penetrate about the same. So there's really no advantage to one over the other that I have seen with the same ammunition type. Okay? All right, but look, 32, 925 feet per second on average, 115 foot-pounds on average. Okay, those are decent numbers. It's a fast round, slightly smaller. Okay, 380, approximately 800 feet per second, 140 foot-pounds. So what happens is the propeller heads look at 380 and they go, oh, well, it's a better round. It's a better round, then we got to carry it, and 32 sucks. That's not necessarily the case. Again, in the parameters that these weapons are used, this is it works. It's pretty good. Okay, so my perspective on this is, if you already have a 380, great, shoot it. It's no big deal. If you already have a 32, you don't need to sell it to buy a 380 so you feel better about yourself or whatever. Okay, they're both going to work just as well. I like my Walther PPK in 32. Okay, I do. Do I carry it? Sometimes in the social circles that I operate in, especially if I'm wearing the James Bond Omega, it just feels right to carry the Walther PPK. Okay, other times, I'll carry something like this. All right, now these are not my primary use pistols. Okay, these are the pistols that I will rely on in circumstances where I need to be dressed in a manner where carrying a full-size pistol is proscribed, where it's not going to work in those circumstances. So I'll downgrade to a smaller pistol, and just I know what I have. My options are a little bit reduced than when I'm carrying a full-size blaster, but circumstances are what they are, and you have to adapt to those circumstances. Okay, look, if you think that you are some sort of gunfighter and you can't win a gunfight with this, I'd think that your basics maybe need a little bit more work, and not only your shooting basics, but also your tactics basics. Okay, so anyway, I for one am glad that Walther's bringing back the 32. I think it's great, I'm going to spend a little bit of time with this Walther and start messing around with it. Now, I announced on my forum that probably I'm thinking, early fall, or maybe during the summer if I can. I'm going to rent a day out at the local range and just host a pocket pistol day, minimal cost, and we'll just get a bunch of people. I want you to be alumni from Suarez Tactics because we can't have any riffraff showing up. Maybe we'll just run through a bunch of drills on pocket pistols, and you know what? We'll see what happens. It's going to be a lot of fun. So anyway, that's it. 32 versus 380. If 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Me, I like old school. I like the 32 and the Walther PPK, and I like the Omega watch. James Bond all the way. All right, peace out.